Hey, what's up? It's Brian here, and in this video I'm going to go into detail on how you can utilize sports betting to make thousands of dollars. And note, this video is totally different than the past videos on this channel and will be different than my future videos too, because as you know, I'm all about positive psychology, self-development, and I really want to put up those videos to impact people, which I still will. But I believe it's very important to put up this video because I have worthwhile information that can help people from a financial standpoint, just like it's helped me. So I know this goes against the typical YouTube advice to focus on one topic and not sway from that because it might hurt you with the YouTube algorithm, but I don't care because this is a worthwhile video that I want to put up. And this is going to be a very lengthy video because I'm going to go into detail very specifically how to make money through the strategies that I'm going to outline. I don't want you to have to Google some other information on sports betting, or I don't want things to be not clear. So it's going to be pretty long because I'm going to go into detail, tell you everything that you need to know. And before I get started really going into the nitty-gritty details of it, I want to put up this huge disclaimer that this video and sports betting in general is not for everyone. Because if you lack self-discipline, if you're the addictive type of person, you're going to be swayed and tempted to gamble on sports more than you should. And the reason I put gamble in little quotation marks is because I'm advocating in this video to use math in your favor. So only bet on sports when the math is working for you, specifically through the new user promotions and the bonuses. But if you lack the self-discipline to stay committed and disciplined to that strategy, don't get started with this because you're going to be tempted to gamble on sports when the math is not in your favor. You don't want to do that. And several of these sites too, like DraftKings, for example, they have a casino section too. So if you got some money on there and it's very easy to deposit money too, you're going to be tempted to gamble on the casino and all that sort of stuff, which as we all know, in the long run, you're going to lose a lot of money that way. So please, if you lack self-discipline, just turn off this video right now. Do not watch it. But if you're financially pretty set right now, even with a few $1,000s, and mentally you're in the right mindset of not being tempted to overspend, of not being tempted to be addictive to negative behaviors and temptations, then watch this video because you can make thousands of dollars just like I did. So what will I be talking about in this video? So I'm going to be talking about two primary ways to make money through sports betting. Number one is through the new user promotions that the sites offer. So in this video in a few minutes, I'm going to go into detail on every single site where you can make some money in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, because I actually moved in the last year from PA to New Jersey. So I've utilized both sites to make money this way. And note that you can research if sports betting is legal in your site. There's several sites that is legal. I'm going to put them right there on the screen right now. And note that the average amount of money you can make through the new user promos in Pennsylvania is $1,750. The average amount in New Jersey is $2,400 because there's more sites in Jersey. I'm going to go into the math in a few minutes, by the way. And you should know how averages work though. So that's the average. So you can make much more than that. You can make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and you can also break even. And like any decision you make to make money, whether it's the stock market, whether it's buying a house, whether it's investing in a small business, there's always a chance you're going to lose money too. So you have to be aware of that risk. I would say there's less than 25% chance you can lose some money too. But that's what life's about. If you just sit on the sidelines, put your money in a savings account, then your money won't grow at all. So I don't think it's really smart to be that risk adverse. Though I will say, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, don't do this because you could lose money and you don't want to be in a tough spot that way. But I will say, even if you got $5,000, $10,000, I would do this because you can easily turn that $5,000 into $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. And in the title, I put in 5 hours because seriously, for each site, it might take 20 to 30 minutes total to create a user account, to upload the necessary documents for this site, to make the first bet, or to make the free bet if the first bet loses. So in total, 20 to 30 minutes per site. Now I would add, it's probably not 5 hours straight in one setting because sometimes you do have to have a back and forth with the site on certain documents. But over the course of a week or two, it really doesn't take much time. It's less than a full day's work. So that's something to keep in mind. And the second way you can make money away from the new user promos is once you're actually on the site and you make your first couple bets, the site still has some weekly bonuses or bonuses that can be emailed to you too. So I'm gonna go into them in a little bit more detail in a few minutes, but pretty much you can consistently make, I would say, between $100 to $500 per month through sports betting. And again, all this stuff I'm talking about too, you might be wondering like, well, Brian, I don't know anything about sports, so how am I gonna do this? Well, guess what? I'm gonna go into that. I'm gonna go into the numbers of sports betting and go into the math of it. So even if you have no idea about sports or what you're doing, these are still the averages. So I'm just assuming you're just picking random bets out of a hat to come up with the averages that I came up with. If you actually know what you're doing and have somewhat of a hunch on things, then you'll probably make a little bit more than what the average amount is for the different states, for the different betting sites. So that's something to keep in mind too. And one thing too that I'll mention, this little disclaimer too, you do have to report your winnings come tax season. So I would definitely research this on your own and make your own decision on what's best for you. Now, of course, no one is like holding a gun to your head to report the information come tax season. And sometimes there's ways to bypass it depending on how you report your taxes. But I'm just saying, research it and make the best decision for you. So let's get into the details now. So note that a couple of these sites, such as DraftKings and betmgm, they have a refer a friend incentive where both people could make some extra money through sports betting. So what I mean by that is, for DraftKings, they have up to $200 free bet to both people, and betmgm has $50 bonus to both people. So how to utilize this is, if you want to join one of these sites, personally email me at bridesandauto52@gmail.com or hit me up on social media. And once you let me know your email, I can log in on my end, put your email down, and then you'll get a personalized invite to join. If you join through that link to your email, then we both get some free money. And I'll go into the free bets in a few minutes, but pretty much a $200 free bet, to put it very briefly, is a 1 in 2 shot at $200 or a 1 in 3 shot at $400. Or a 1 in 10 shot at $2,000. So there's a lot of different possibilities there to make some money. So I'm going to go over the site specifically for Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So first I'm going to go over the sites for Pennsylvania. And next to each site, as you see, that's the new user promo that's available. And I'm not going to put the URL for each site. I would advise just typing it in on Google. It should be pretty self-explanatory. If you're having any problems, of course, comment down below. I'll try to help you out. And note that these are the new user promos as of today, late September. So these change a lot though. So by the time you're watching this, the promo might be different. It might be a little bit better actually, or it might be a little bit worse. Typically they stay around the same though. So as you can see, the vast majority of these sites, actually pretty much everyone besides DraftKings, the offer is literally the same. The amount is just different as the maximum amount that you can bet. So meaning, they're all really set up like bet $1,000, get a $1,000 free bet if your bet loses. So I'm going to go into what that actually means right now. So first, I'm going to go over what the numbers mean when you bet on sports. So if a line is -110, that means pretty much you have to bet $110 to get $100 profit from that. So usually they put games at -110 for each spread. So it's like if you bet on this team against the spread, say to win by 4 or more points, it's -110. If you bet on the other team against that spread, it's -110. So the reason they do this is because if they put, say, -100 or they call it +100, then the betting sites would literally just break even. So they put -110 because they're going to make a little bit from each of the bets. And just for simplistic purposes, when I'm doing the averages here, I'm assuming that your first bet is always a -110 bet, which by definition is always a 50-50 bet. Now, if you know what you're doing and you bet on the right sports or the right lines, it might be a little bit more than 50-50, or it might be a little bit less too. But it won't be much more. It will be between like 47% and 53% chance of that bet winning when it's -110. Say you bet $1,000 on a -110 bet. So pretty much you have a 50% chance of turning that $1,000 into $1,900 roughly. It's actually a little bit more, but I'm going to underestimate it to $1,900. So you have a 50% chance that you make $900 from that $1,000. And this is where the math comes into play. So that other 50% chance is you lose the $1,000, but you get the $1,000 free bet. So the free bet, if you have a $1,000 free bet, you could utilize the line, say plus 200 for that. I'm gonna go into this a little bit more in a few minutes, but if you see a bet around plus 200 or plus 180 or plus 220 and you pick that bet to estimate is roughly a 3 in 10 chance at winning. There's a 50% chance that you lose the first bet, and if you do, then there's a 3 in 10 chance that you win that second bet to turn that $1,000 free bet into $2,000, which of course is $1,000 more than you started with. So the math is below. If you're a little bit confused, it's pretty much 0.5 times 1,900, because there's a 50% chance you win that first bet, plus 0.5, because there's a 50% chance you lose that first bet, times 3/10, which is the chance you win that bet to win $2,000. So if you do the math there, that leads to $950 plus $300 equals $1,250. Again, this is from a $1,000 deposit. So the quote-unquote profit from this offer is $250. So if you do the math, anytime that the new user promo has a, say, bet $1,000, get a $1,000 free bet offer, the average profit when you utilize that is 25% of what the offer is for the amount. So again, if you go down the list, bet Rivers, bet $500, get $500 free bet if loses. Your average payout, if you do that, is 25% of 500, which is $125. So if you do the math all the way through, which I already did, you would get $1,770. And note, for DraftKings, it's a little bit different because it's get $200 in free bets. So for this one, it's just bet $5. I'm not really taking that into consideration. I mean, 50-50 shot at turning $5 into $9.50, 50-50 shot at losing it. I mean, if I did the math, that would be literally you lose like 25 cents on average. So I'm not even including that. So it's pretty much you get a $200 free bet for nothing. So for DraftKings, if you're doing that and you use the $200 free bet on, say, a plus 200, then you literally have about a 3 in 10 chance at making $400. So if you do the math, the expected payout is $120 just through DraftKings. So note, I added 120 at the beginning there because that's for DraftKings, and then I just added 25% of the other marks to get the $1,770. So I want to go into the math a little bit in more detail for the betting side of it. So this is all my advice. You don't have to take it specifically. So I'm gonna give a range for different bets depending on how risk adverse you are, or how willing you are to take a little bit more chances if the math works out in your favor. So for your first bet on every single site, I advise picking a bet between plus 150 and minus 125. And the reason I say this range is because if you do, say, negative 150 or negative 200, that's saying you need to bet $200 just to make $100 if it's negative 200. So in other words, you're really betting for the favorite there. But the math, that really doesn't really work out in your favor to make the most money. That's playing it too safe in my opinion, because the winnings are a little bit limited. But if you are extremely risk adverse and you're like, oh man, I really don't want to lose any money from this, then okay, you can make some bets like minus 125 or minus 150 for that first bet. But just know you're going to be putting a little bit of a ceiling on the amount of money you can win too. And also, because you have that risk-free bet, if you lose your first bet, there are diminishing returns to playing it too safe. Now, if you're a beginner and thinking, what the hell, Brian? I don't know what any of this means. Just tell me what to bet. Okay. So if you're that person and you just want to be told what to do, I would advise your first bet, always betting either plus 100 or negative 105 or negative 115 or negative 110 or negative 107, like somewhere in that range. Those bets are generally a 1 in 2 shot at winning. And I believe this is a good balance of playing it safe without being too safe, in my opinion. Now, if you don't want to play it too safe, then actually doing a bet such as, say, plus 125 or plus 150, even as a first bet, would be cool too. But just know, those bets may have a 1 in 3 chance at winning, or say a 2 in 5 chance at winning, as opposed to 1 in 2. So there is a little bit more chance there. But mathematically, it actually does make sense to probably do that, but the math is so close, I really can't tell you what to do either way. I would just say the range is between plus 150 and negative 125 for that first bet. Now, when they say risk-free bet, this is what they mean. They mean, say the site says $500 risk-free bet. That means you can bet $500 on any bet, and if you lose, you'll get that back in a $500 free bet. Now note, this does not mean that you get that $500 back to bet again technically, because when you get the free bet, you don't get the amount of the free bet if you win that free bet. You just get the winnings from that. So that's a really important point. And understanding that also leads to the logic of why it makes sense for the free bets, for the second bet that you make if you lose the first, to bet a little bit more of a long shot. So you can bet, say, something between plus 200 and plus 300, I'd say. Though technically, you can go as high as possible mathematically for this. So for me, sometimes for free bets, I might wager like a plus 10,000 chance or plus 1,000 chance. Because it does make more sense, because if you play it too safe, you're only getting the winnings. You're not getting the amount of the free bet back. So, for example, right, a negative 110 bet, if you have a $100 free bet for that, and you just bet that, if you win that bet, you're not getting that $100 back. You're just getting $90 back. If you bet plus 200 on a $100 free bet, and you win, you'll get $200. So pretty much you'll get twice as much on a plus 200 bet as opposed to a minus 110 bet when you're using a free bet. So again, do the math. I think it makes sense to bet a little bit more of a long shot. If you don't want to do plus 200 to plus 300, at least do like plus 150, I would say. Now, I already went over all the sites for Pennsylvania. Here are the sites for New Jersey. Note, like for Pennsylvania, they're mostly the same, meaning they say bet X amount of money. If you lose that, then you get that amount back in a free bet. However, whereas Pennsylvania only had DraftKings that differed from that promo, New Jersey has DraftKings, but also 3 sites that are exclusive to New Jersey, such as Bet365, WinBet, and Superbook. To briefly go over these offers, Bet365 is similar to DraftKings. Bet only $1 and then have $200 in free bets to work with. As shown earlier, $200 in free bets has an expected payout of $120 or potentially more if you're willing to put in more of a long shot. The WinBet offer is bet 100 and win or lose that bet, you will get a $50 free bet. The expected value for this, assuming again you bet a line of negative 110 and your free bet is on a plus 200 line, is 0.5 times 191 plus 0.3 times 100, because your $50 free bet at a plus 200 line has a 3 in 10 chance of yielding a $100 payout. So all that, which leads to the expected payout being $125 or $25 not including the deposit. Note, for WinBet, they also give you a $50 casino bonus, but if you read the fine print, there's a wagering requirement, which makes that not worth it to do. And for Superbook, their bonus is a little bit different too. They give you a deposit match to add to your bet. But note, you only get the winnings from this bonus if you win the bet, not the actual bonus amount. For example, if you bet $1,000 on a -110 bet and win, payout would be $1,909 plus $909, which is the winnings from the extra $1,000 that they gave you towards the bet. And if you add up those two numbers, that would be $2,809 from your $1,000 deposit. Now, if you lost the bet, then you lost the $1,000. So pretty much for Superbook, you have a 50% chance to lose $1,000 and a 50% chance to win $1,809. Again, assuming that you maximize the offer and bet the $1,000. So if you do the math, the average payout is $404.50. Now, as you can see with all of these average payouts, you'll never actually get to the average payout. It's literally impossible to get that exactly. So for all the offers, you're either gonna lose your deposit money or make way more than the average payout. But the law of averages tells you that when there is a larger sample size, such as you're doing this on more sites, you are more likely to get close to the average. So for example, if you bet on just 2 sites, you are more likely to win all your bets or lose all your bets and money, as opposed to betting on, say, 10 different sites or all the sites that I'm listing here. Because if you do that, you're surely going to win some and lose some, and more likely to make money because of the law of averages and the fact that the math is working in your favor. Now, once you add up all the average payouts for the New Jersey sites, you will get $2,354 as an average payout across all the sites. So again, you can make way more than that, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, or you can break even, and there's always a chance you can lose some money. As you can see, the average payout is larger than for Pennsylvania just because there's more sites, more bonus offers, more average payouts for the sites as a result. So for all of these sites listed, go to the website and go to create a new user account or register or something like that. And note, you might even see the new user promo on the main page, or you might have to click through it. And also read the fine print for each site, because for some of the sites, they do require you when you make that initial deposit to check off that new user promo or put in that code. So I would say anytime you create a new user account, go to the promo section immediately after and click on the new user promo. And then through there, usually there's a button to deposit through that promo, so they automatically use it for you. Sometimes they don't even require you to do that, but just to be safe, always go to the promo section after creating the account just to make sure that you're utilizing it correctly. And all of these sites too, they have a chat feature or some customer service too. So if you're confused at all when you're creating an account or even with betting, you can comment down below in this video. I'll try to answer any questions, but the sites themselves can sometimes help you out too. Now, once you're an active user on these sites, you really want to keep your eye out for bonuses. Now note that the money you get per minute of your time after the new user promotions is much less than the initial phase for new users. So for example, when you're a new user, you can literally spend 20-30 minutes and your expected payout is like $200, $300, $400. But for the bonuses, they're not that much. So it might be like, oh, you spend 10 minutes doing this, your expected payout is $15. Or you spend 20 minutes doing these bets, your expected payout is $40. So it changes, but pretty much you really want to keep tabs on the bonuses if you have the time for it and the discipline to not over bet too. And note, some of these sites, they do email you when there's a bonus every week or every few days or every month randomly, but some sites don't. So particularly DraftKings and sometimes betmgm, sometimes FanDuel, they don't really email you when there's some bonuses out there. So you might have to actually log into the account and then go to the promo section and kind of just read through them. I do advise you to always read the fine print for the bonuses and look out for a couple of things. such as a playthrough requirement, if you need to opt in with a code, those things. If there's ever a wagering requirement or playthrough requirement, as some sites call it, it's not worth it to do it. So these could be 10 times or even 2 times, saying you have to wager that many times what the deposit is just to get the bonus. Those aren't worth doing. In general, the good bonuses are things like risk-free bets, deposit matches, or 50% deposit matches, or profit boost, which could be 50% or 100%. And sometimes the bonuses could be like bet X amount on a game and get a free bet for X amount. So most bonuses you'll get emailed about, and you'll see them on the site too. And you'll notice too, a lot of the bonuses are not worth doing. So keep that in mind, but some are. So you need to look out for those. And if you do those, you can make a little bit of money. It could be $100 a month. It could be $1,000 a month. And again, this is under the assumption you know nothing about sports when you're making these bets. So if you can actually pick games pretty well, spreads, things like that at an above average level, then of course your profit will be more than what the averages are. So again, the bonuses every month to keep tabs on, it is more work. You have to know a little bit more of what you're doing. So if you're watching this video and you're a little bit confused on what the bonuses are, or even just about sports betting in general, but you at least understand the new user promos because I'm spelling them out for you, then I would just do that. Just do the new user promos and the bonuses every month. You don't really have to keep tabs on that because again, at most you might get a few $100s a month, maybe a little bit more if you know what you're doing, but it might not be worth it for you to really keep tabs on that. So that's all the information that you need to go out there and make some money. I really hope this video was valuable to you. I put it up because I want to help people from a financial standpoint. I would hope if someone had a side hustle where they were making some money and I knew them, they would let me know about it too. I think that's just the kind and the smart thing to do. And no, as you can see, sports betting, it is a little complicated. It is a little bit complex. But once you understand a little bit about the numbers and the components of what you're doing, and then I think everybody can do it. Everybody can do it. Now, I want to go back though to what I said at the beginning. If you're the type of person to lack the self-discipline to stay committed to a financial strategy, if you're the type of person to overspend on your credit card, or say overspend on that piece of clothing at the store, or be tempted to gamble on something, or go to the casino or something, and you just live recklessly financially and spending wise and mentality wise to be disciplined, then please, I beg you, do not go into sports betting. That was the one reservation I had putting up this video. As much as I know I'm saying it in this video, I know there might be that one person out there to think, I can do it, I can do it. I can be disciplined and not bet on sports when the math is not in my favor. And then they might go out and do it. So I just really hope you're not that person. If you are, do not get into this stuff because you're going to lose all your money. That's how gambling works and the casino works. The math is not in your favor when you're using gambling in the casino unless you're utilizing the promos and the bonuses that I'm going over in this video. So really keep that in mind. And if you're disciplined though to stay committed to this, then go out there and make some money. Comment down below any questions you have. I'm an open book and I really want to help people go out there and make some money.